Hi, it's Ashley, it's Tuesday, it's storytime week, so I've got a story for you. I'm gonna try to make it as funny as possible because I try to make everything as funny as possible because my life is equivalent to a comedy show. I tweeted that earlier and I thought it was great, so. Okay, so we're just gonna get into the story. About the time I was bullied by a senior low-key in front of my English class. Stay tuned. So I'm a sophomore. This guy was a senior. He was very large. He was buff. I'm a dumb sophomore, 16. Don't know what I'm talking about half the time, but like. So we wrote a societal problem essay in English, right? It was an assignment. I did it, 8 paragraphs. I turned it in. It was done. After I turned it in, on the Friday before spring break, this was like 2 weeks ago, the seniors came into my English class and they were going to ask us questions about our essay that we wrote. And so I was ready. I had my answers in my head. I knew what I was talking about. And my thing was about animal cruelty in like meat factories and stuff like Tyson and stuff like that. So that was what mine was about. Nothing about makeup. That's just like, just so you know for future reference. So I'm sitting there and they don't have enough seniors for everybody because 0 hours a thing where you leave a class earlier than everybody else. It's really dumb. So these seniors were still here 8th hour, and so they walk around, they only fill half the classroom, and so I'm just like, okay, maybe I won't have to talk to somebody. I would be so up for that. So for most of the time I did not talk to anybody. Everybody else had somebody to talk to. People were talking to 2 people at a time. It was great. I was like having a good time just watching. And then this guy, I don't even remember what his name was, but he was large. He had very large arms and like, oh my god, it was terrifying a little bit. And so he asked me questions. He's like, hi, my name is, don't remember what his name is, and I'm like, hi, I'm Ashley, hello. And so he started asking me questions. Like the first question was, what is it about? I told him. And then so he asked me further questions, and one of the questions he asked me was, did you write about any like makeup brands? And I was like, no. Why? I just told you that's not what my thing was about. He's like, well, I just heard Maybelline did this thing with like, they're not testing on animals anymore. And I'm like, okay, that's not what my essay was about at all. He was, and then this bitch turned to me and looked at me a little closer and was like, well, maybe you should have some more recent topics in your essay. Boy, excuse you? It got me fired up, and that was one of the first questions he asked me. So that just like got me mad, right? And then he just kept like going on like that, and like it started to bring my self-esteem down lower than it already is. And he was like, well, like, what would you fix about your essay? Because I told him, and I was like, well, I don't think it's like structured right, but I think it's structured in a good enough way. And so I was like, so I answered his question with, I don't know, I'd probably go in with a little more detail because I'm dumb, so I don't do that half the time. I just get what's done, and then I'm good. And he was like, well, maybe you should just work on your structuring. Are you sure you would want to go in with detail? And like the way this bitch said it, oh my god, it got me so upset. So upset. Like, I'm sensitive. This is why this is what happens. I'm actually so sensitive. I cry at everything, just disclaimer, it's a thing. So like at the time I was like, who does this guy think he is? Is anybody else hearing him? Excuse you. So I just like brush it off because like I'm only gonna talk to this bitch once and this is it. And so literally we get done talking, he gets done insulting me some more, right? And then he goes to walk away with this little piece of dumb paper, and he's literally turned around. He stops and turns back around to face me. And you know what this boy says? You know, I'm on varsity debate, so like we have to structure our argument so it actually makes sense to the reader. Boy, you didn't even read my goddamn essay. And he's telling me that I need to rewrite it and turn it in. Like, boy, I already turned it in. There is no more time. He got me riled up, and I'm sorry for cursing, but oh my god, this kid. And then so like I was like upset, right? Because I'm a sensitive bitch and I just overthink absolutely everything, and I literally wanted to like take my essay back. So like we're going around the class and we're giving feedback on what the seniors said, and so I was like, and so my teacher was saying, he was like, so what did your seniors say? And so I just sit there and I'm like, my senior was rude to me. And then everybody around me like laughs, but like they know I'm serious. They were there. And my friend Jacob, he's like, yeah, she's right. And so my teacher was like, so what did he say? And I was like, well, you know, he was just like critiquing my already turned in essay and telling me I need to redo everything and giving me ideas and topics that I should have written about that weren't about my subject, blah blah blah, and just like the tone this kid had it in. So, you know, I realized that I'm starting to cry. There's a tear like coming down my face, and so I just stop and I sit there and breathe, because like crying in front of your entire class is like very scary. So I sit there and I'm kind of crying. I cry a little bit. I got over it, and then it was spring break and I left. So yeah, that's the story of how a senior bullied me and made me cry in front of my English class. Subscribe to this channel. I post every Tuesdays. Yeah, hope you had a good time. All my social medias will be down below. Bye.